Welcome, race fans, to race number 14, the Carol Richards Memorial Race here at Talladega, the cutoff race for the playoffs. These drivers are here at Talladega to see if they can be able to make it in to the next round. Joining me today, David Huckleberry, the producer here, giving us these wonderful shots from Talladega, as well as myself, Gerald Campbell, and a little bit once David Westergreen it figures out how to turn on the fighting the gremlins. It gets back up on the booth stand with me. He'll be back here in just a bit. So right now it's just Dave Huckleberry and myself here. Going to be giving you a rundown of the field. Qualifying is underway, but let's take a look at those playoff points. We do have them color-coded for everyone at home to be able to keep an eye on and kind of figure out how this elimination round is going to go. The drivers locked in with nothing to worry about are the ones locked in green. The only three of them here tonight: Fody, Ethan Stanley, Garrison Hogan. The drivers in blue are the drivers that are currently in on points, but not locked in just as of yet. And drivers in orange are the ones that have to find some way or shape of form to be able to find their way in, either with a win or to be able to point their way in. And all of those drivers in orange have a legitimate shot of being able to point their way in. So a lot of racing ahead of us, folks. Qualifying has just wrapped up. We're going to take a look at the qualifying lineup here. There's a fourth color we forgot to mention. It's going to be no color. That would be drivers that are out of the points, just here to try to go after a win. Qualifying on the front row, though, is Scott Crump, one of those drivers that is trying to see if he can get himself in. He's going to be starting from the first spot for Lake Norman. Garrison Hogan, one of the locked-in drivers, going to be starting from the second position. Dustin Dewar, Monday night's winner. Dustin Dewar trying to see if he can back it up right next to his teammate there, Jeff Green, starting from fourth. David Tooker, one of those guys trying to find his way in, currently out, going to be starting from the fifth spot. Tyler Fody starting from sixth. Joshua Adams, seventh. Jonathan Cutlip, eighth. Michael Hosek, ninth. Ethan Stanley, 10th. Trey Holmes, 11th. Johnny Thomas will be starting from the 12th position. William White, the English driver, going to be starting from 13th. Ryan Gable will be starting 14th. Matthew Weeks, 15th. Corey Abbott will be starting from 16th. Nick Indelicato, 17th. Tate Lytle, the madman himself, starting from the 18th position. Ethan Burrell there, starting from the 19th position. Seth Rawls, 20th. Wyatt Canado, 21st. Andrew Rucker, 22nd. Leighton Norgard, 23rd. Robert Hill will be starting from the 24th spot. 25th will be Mark Rebellis. 26th is Justin Vandermeerl. Chad Frankenfield starting from the 27th position. Farthest back driver in the points, Jordan Owens, starting from the 28th position. Christopher, 29th position. Joshua Personette, 30th. Carlos Acosta will be starting from the 31st. Kyle Hanshaw, 32nd position. Brent Jones, 33rd. Gavin Hibbs, 34th. Ryan Schold, 35th. Richie Hearn, 36th. Oh, Jesse Racines was back there. My bad. Starting from the 37th position. Michael Goodman, Justin Wadsworth, 38th. Nick Massey, 39th. I'm not racing. I apologize. So the 40th spot will be Jesse Racines there, starting from the 40th position. He's actually the last driver. He didn't set a time, so I didn't see him get into that spot. But yeah, starting from the 40th position will be Jesse Racines. These drivers are already coming towards the front stretch here to be able to take the start of the race. This is an elimination round. They have to survive on track for 60 laps. We're going to find out here if they're able to do it for the Carol Richards Memorial Race. Scott Crump will be leading them on the front stretch here, waiting for them to come around. He will probably have to wait till the green flag comes out. Green flag is out where the racing gets good, and the good get racing. We're going to see how they're able to stack up against each other, lined up nose to nose. Already getting the outside running there. The bottom lane kind of lost momentum. And already we're having 3 drivers starting to be able to clear themselves on that top row. All the way to Tyler Fody in 3rd spot. Oh boy, they're already getting sideways there. Here comes Jeff Green, not wasting any time. He's going to be able to drop down to the bottom. Oh, he's just barely got in front of Scott Crump. That's going to cause a checkup. They're already 3 wide before we even came back around to complete 1 lap. And these drivers are already impatient and ready to get going for this race. Jeff Green trying to change his luck as the season's gone, leading that bottom lane right in front of Scott Crump. Scott Crump now is going to try to jump up in front of his teammate there, Tyler Fody. At the line, it's going to be Jeff Green leading the 1st lap. As we're now 3 wide for the lead. Garrison Hogan, Scott Crump, Jeff Green lined up there. Here comes Scott Crump down the middle lane, trying to see if he can clear himself. Doesn't take much for these lanes to be formed, it looks like. It only takes 3 drivers for them to be able to get lined up to have the momentum. Wow, look at that outside lane, take off. Here we go, there goes a move down to the bottom. Ethan Stanley able to get down in front of his teammates. Garrison Hogan drops down to block the move. That's gonna allow Lake Norman to have 3 drivers on the bottom lane. Garrison Hogan's going to come back, try to block the middle lane. Here comes Chad Frankenfield to give him a shove. Coming around to complete lap 2, it's going to be Ethan Stanley. If this keeps up, we'll have a different driver leading every lap. Oh, looks like we got David Westergreen back with us. How you doing?
Sort of back. We'll see how much I can contribute. We got a little technical difficulties on my end. I'll see what I can do. Gerald Chad started 27th. He's 3rd, now 2nd on lap 3.
25 spots in 3 laps.
There's definitely...
Very impressive.
I think he cheated.
Oh, Chad almost got...
He's trying to wreck Garrison.
Oh!
Chad in the round! He's going to be... Oh, he saved it!
Oh, no!
Maybe not. Oh, no. Wow. You started up your computer and started the commentator's curse immediately. Dave, I don't know how you did it. But
he's back down to 15th now.
That's incredible. Well, needless to say, that kind of spread out everything. That allowed Adams to be able to now, Joshua Adams, to take the lead there. And now we've got it kind of broken up. Adams is now going to take to the outside. You'd almost think there's $1 million on the line with how they're racing. It is hard to really put into words just how hard the racing is right now. All these drivers are putting up massive blocks and the runs are coming so fast that it's become really dangerous there. In just a second, we may want to take a replay to see exactly what shaped up there. I think it all started with Chad Frankenfield essentially almost turning the leader there, and he checked up, and then Fody ended up coming down and almost collecting Chad Frankenfield. Chad's now dropped back farther in the field. He's in a must-win almost situation. Otherwise, he's going to have to hope for a lot of drivers to wreck out. He's the last guy on points right now in the chase right now, all the way back in 14th. So he's going to have to hope for a win or a lot of guys to be taken out. He was almost the one to be taken out. So how much can you see right now, David?
I've got it. We're a little choppy, but Johnny Thomas is on the bottom, pushed by David Tooker. A couple of guys in must-win situations. Actually, I don't think Tooker's in a must-win situation, but both of those guys need good runs here at Talladega tonight. Both of them pretty avid drafters, good guys to be up front with. Garrison Hogan's going to go try to take advantage of that fast duo on the bottom.
I think there's a just conservative take now. A lot of drivers have just kind of broken off and decided to try to find a way to get to the back and avoid the mess that they just saw and try to make this race last a little longer. I said 60 laps. It's actually, I think, 94. Yeah, 94 laps
down
here.
to the bottom.
Yeah, 94 laps is the race. So they do have a long time to try to set things up, and it almost ended pretty quickly for a lot of them. Like I said, we have 40 drivers here tonight, a lot of drivers within points contending ability to be able to make their way into the chase, but a lock-in is certain with a win. Oh boy, Scott Crump came right down in front of Cutlip there and almost got hooked. Those Lake Norman cars are super aggressive with these blocks, these very late blocks. But here comes the outside run. Adams and it looks like Johnny Thomas. I say that, and then Johnny Thomas now jumping to the high side with the help of Jeff Green and Tyler Fody. Going to try to get that high lane to work. Oh, here comes a block right up to the top, almost 3 wide again. They are 3 wide. Now it looks like Garrison Hogan able to gum up to the outside. We're going to have a different lead for this lap as well. Boy, these guys are really brave on the steering wheel here tonight. As everyone yeah.
What I can tell is the race leader in the outside lane, that's the preferred lane. These guys push past the bottom, and then somebody from behind the race leader drops down. Right? And when that happens, as Johnny Thomas is going down right now, somebody ends up in the middle. Either that's the leader, formally trying to throw a block like Garrison Hogan right there. That's the car from behind him trying to jump down and get around him. And when somebody ends up in the middle, they go straight to that.
Yeah,
not marking that way right now. Dusty Dewar's making it work.
I think the wreck is going to come from someone making a late block and not having time to be able to move out of the way, because they are absolutely putting blocks on runs that I just don't see how they're putting such big blocks on lap 9 here, especially when there's so many valid ways to be able to get up there. We're seeing so many moves being able to be made. There's not one lane that is dominant right now. You see the 88 there, Trey Holmes able to get up in front of Johnny Thomas. He's going to help push his, not really teammate, but definitely friend there on the outside, David Tooker, who is currently out, but the next guy in to make it in on points. He's only about 4 points out behind Scott Crump from making it in. So he's just hoping to survive. He has a really good shot at being able to make it in if one of these guys in the points has a bad night. And with how things are going, it may not be too long before we find a picture that we can see where everyone's going to stack up on bad luck side of things.
No, there's definitely some survival aspect of this. Not to mention the gaps in those points, only 10 or 15 points back for Houston points from that 9th spot. So very easy to lose that. Late in the race, you can lose 10 spots in the last lap, caught up in the wrong wreck. So David Tooker, Johnny Thomas, kind of throwing caution to the wind early in this one, and I think that's the right strategy. Try to stay in front of any accidents. And if you're a part of something, then you'll play in the back and survive. Because this car is pretty tanky. We've addressed that at the super speedway races before. Some guys are deciding to play it out the back. Some guys are trying to move to the front, like Jonathan Cutlip, who is not locked in. Tyler Fody is locked in on points after his good run last week.
Absolutely. I don't know, David. Are you on your computer, or are you doing this on? Were you able to get back on your computer?
On a computer. It's not
a computer.
Okay.
Not the optimal computer.
So I am watching the race unfold. There's 5 guys at the bottom, 3 wide behind. We're cooking.
Your audio is okay. It's kind of like I'm talking to a guy that's doing this from like 20 years in the past, but you're coming from MRN from 20 years ago, but yeah, people, it's clear enough. I think people can give you a slide on it. But the racing has been great. I know you can't get a full picture of the spectrum here of how it's looking, but that mid pack right there that you're seeing in frame, there is just anywhere you want to go. These cars don't seem to have an issue of being able to make moves on the bottom or the high side. It's just who's able to get hooked up. As soon as a driver gets to the back bumper of someone and tries to make an effort of getting to the front, they're able to. And right there, you're seeing the 1 and the 91. They've got essentially no help right behind them. Oh, they're wrecking in the middle of the tri-oval. They're still going. No
Norgard.
No caution. Still green. White, Nadal. Yeah, they got hooked together on the tri-oval. They were on the bottom lane together. And oh boy, that no caution means that these guys are going to lose the draft here. We're going to get a look and see exactly what happened with a Leighton Norgard here.
Ryan Schold.
Oh, Ryan Schold hooked the 84 there. And the 84 came down right into Leighton Norgard. 84 is going to get probably a penalty here. We're going down pit road. Oh, does he hit the wall? I think he did. I think the 84 slammed the inside wall.
Looks like Ryan was already committed to the middle, and Wyatt just kind of came down, changed lanes on him.
That's
Wasn't
exactly
really
what happened.
expecting that. It's going to be a penalty on Wyatt, and he hit the inside wall measure.
Yeah, he scared the heck out of the pole sitters pit crew there. But needless to say, back up front here, just what I was saying, Johnny Thomas and Adams have decided to play middle, like 2010 NASCAR, where you hooked up and you just are able to just get clear of the field. Now they do have to break apart, and that's when this group behind them is absolutely going to run them over. Essentially go right by him. Dustin Dewar are going to be able to do just that, maybe before the line. Oh, don't go up in front of him. Oh boy, that's
Adams throws the block, Cody to the bottom.
The blocking is getting a little intense here. I think we can all agree.
It reminds me of the real life NASCAR, right? Remember, the lapped cars started, holding up the leaders via those big blocks, where they just move up the track in front of the leaders, split apart, go too wide, and the leaders can't get through, and it just lets them stay at the front of the pack. Now I think the runs are a little bigger in this iRacing car. That's just exactly how the real drivers seem to do it these days, and why not? If you're Josh Adams, he's got nothing to lose. He's not fighting for a championship or anything. He and Dusty Dewar, they're up here trying to win this race. So keeping the track position more important than risking getting spun off the front bumper.
Yeah, I'm sure some of these guys are saying that they're not here for a long time, they're here for a good time. And that's what we're seeing Adams do right now with the help of Ethan Stanley. Both of those drivers not doing anything more than just trying to get a win. Here comes some more Lake Norman cars. This is absolutely just, oh my gosh, Adams throws a massive block. And now Scott Crump's going to drop down in front of the 91 there of Johnny Thomas. Now going to try to get a help from him. I don't know what kind of drafting this is. I've never seen drafting like this on iRacing, and I've been around for a long time. I've never seen such intense drafting with so much blocking. As one of our playoff drivers just went a lap down, unfortunately for Jesse Racimus, there was a breakup of cars that were not able to stay up in the draft. We're 4 wide. Oh my God, Johnny Thomas turning around. Chad Frankenfield, Jesse Racimus, 3 playoff guys.
Still green.
They saved it, but that's going to cause a lot of cars to check up.
Make sure we don't go to caution here, but yeah,
no,
it was
we're
4
not.
wide there.
It went 4 wide.
Right there, it might have been a little bit of net code pushing the 91 down into the 70. The car control keeps them there, and the group that was 2 seconds behind was able to roar by on the outside. That's the 01, 56, 37. That was the group that was a second or so behind the front pack. Now it's even more split apart.
Yeah, this is even more looking like the era of Trevor Bayne winning the Daytona race, where they were broke up all across the racetrack because there's tandem, and this is looking more and more like that. There's just so many packs of cars. Let's take a look. That's the front pack. Let's go take a look at the second pack with I believe it's back there with Ryan Gable. That's neck pack.
Gable leads the second pack.
And then back there with I think that's Trey Holmes back there is another group.
Justin Wadsworth, Trey Holmes, yep.
And then
we have Johnny Thomas on board.
Yeah, there's more groups than that even. So I mean, they're slowly starting to get clumped back together, but this is some intense racing. Poor Ryan.
Single out now as Garrison Hogan takes the lead up front.
Yeah, these are more drivers that have lost touch. back up to the front here. Now Adam's going to come out to the outside. Drivers are already talking that the next cars they see spin, they're going to stay full throttle because they can't risk losing the draft again. And yeah, needless to say, the next car that spins, it's lights out for them. No one's going to check up for them. So they better hope that they don't spin up across in front of somebody because they're going to be taken out here. And just like that, Adams stops.
That's not Adams has been fighting for the top the whole time. He's also been fighting to stay up front, but he is going to head to the back of the pack. Ryan Gable is going to have a massive run on this front group since they were 2 and 3 wide there for about a lap. This second group has easily caught this first group, and they will, I think, flash by Josh Adams and move forward. I want to go back to your note, Gerald, on checking up and also not checking up for the wrecks that kind of haven't happened, as this pack is now one giant pack once again, 20 plus cars deep. This is not a bug of the group, right? The league rules state, you know, the admins are not to throw caution at their discretion, which, you know, that is a rule that has been much more debated and maligned over the years in elite racing, but it's a rule that's been maintained and consistent. And iRacing is just the one that determines the yellows. And iRacing is very inconsistent about when a yellow flag happens at the super speedways. It often has to have a car turned backwards. And in none of these wrecks has a car turned backwards. But these drivers have been debating this rule for years. They have to know you've got to go, even if the caution should have come out. Like, you will lose the draft. With this car, with this package, you will lose the draft. You will hurt your race if you don't, you know, be aggressive on those checkups. It's something I've had to learn. It's something all these guys have had to learn. And that's just, at this point, we know the rules. And we've argued the rules for a long time, so you know, the admins, the rules, they're not going to change. So you just got to change how you drive, and maybe that's unsafe. Maybe that's not as what you're going to want to do, but you know, they're just going to have to make a difference here.
Absolutely. We also want to give a shout out, of course, to the race sponsor, and more than a race sponsor. She was an avid listener, an avid watcher, a fan of our sport, and a fan of her favorite driver. And I think the best way for us to honor her memory is maybe let's do an onboard of Ethan Burrell while we talk about our race sponsor there. Onboard with her favorite driver, Ethan Burrell. That, of course, is Carol Richards. That is Ethan Burrell's grandmother. She passed away last year, and Ethan Burrell's ducking down there. But she passed away. But it was not a question. Her favorite driver and her love for her grandson brought her to our sport, and she was someone that was in the chat from time to time. And anytime Ethan Burrell got into victory lane, you knew she was watching. And it wasn't a paid by anybody, by no means. It was something that we wanted to be able to do in memory of her, of anybody that, you know, knew her and loved her. Obviously can understand that you know, this is the best way for us to honor her memory, is to give her a shout out here and to give her you know, an onboard of her favorite driver. And though she's not here, she's still tuning in to these races, watching Ethan Burrell. She just has a better view now than even us. So again, in loving memory of Carol Richards, we will obviously remember her for many more years than just after this race. But wanted to make sure we did that shout out for Ethan Burrell, as I don't think anybody shouted out for her more than or for her loved one than Ethan Burrell did for his grandmother there. But again, thank you, Carol Richards, for being a loving family member to not just Ethan, but to the Elite Racing Network, and to us here that get to talk to, you know, and talk about these cars online here. So we wanted to make sure we did that for Ethan there, as he's such a great competitor, and we definitely wanted to honor that memory. So I think she's got a good race to be able to watch it. for this one. She's definitely gonna have to definitely hope that somehow in some way where her grandson there is going to be able to survive this. He's 37 points above the cutoff line. Now, he didn't make it on Monday to the next round, and he was 27 points above the cutoff line there. So that gives you any kind of insight of how crazy Talladega can be. It's not safe by any means for anybody that is not locked in. So all these drivers are going to have to try to somehow make it through Talladega here. And with the kind of blocks that we've seen here today, Dave, it's going to be a tough one to make it here for the rest of these 70 laps.
Yeah, I hesitate to say anything, but the race has calmed down just a little bit, and just as I say that, there goes Nick Massey to the outside. The Lake Norman cars of Scott Crump and Ethan Stanley had been controlling the race. It is now going to be the Mountain Man Motorsports driver Nick Massey alongside the 21 Savage Autosport of the #1 car there. And Hugo will be up on the outside with Dusty Dewer, Jeff Green working their way to try and get around Jonathan Cutlip there in the fueled up entry.
Yeah, right now we have 28 drivers on the lead lap. So there's still a big pack here. We already have 4 guys a lap down. Justin Wadsworth leading those drivers 1 lap down on that bottom lane, trying to see if he can be able to catch a lucky break with a caution. 3 wide right now. It looks like our Monday night winner there. Give a shout out to Dustin Dewar after getting his first elite victory after, what was it, like 451 races of racing in the elite. He was able to get it done.
Just put her in the wall. Right as we're talking about it, they're going to wreck. Yep,
no,
there goes Jeff.
Jeff Green around. Okay, well, 1 for you, 1 for me. Caution is out.
That was incredible. And Jeff did a full loop and kept her going, and we get the caution there. And you know who really needed that was Nick and Delicato.
And Ethan, and well,
way off the back of the
Nick and Delicato, but that also helped Wadsworth. What in the world? You did it to Chad Frankenfield, and as soon as I say something about Dustin Dewar,
and I mean Dusty just missed the lane there on the top, let it ride into the fence just a little bit, and as soon as he did that, he checked up, 2-car checked up, 40 car nowhere to go, went right in the back of 2.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think anyone's really that badly off. I mean, these cars are tanked.
Oh, Robert Hill went around. 2-car incident.
Nah, I think Robert was just
checking up.
I think he saw something shiny on the ground and he wanted to go back and check for it.
25 and the 70 checked up in front of Robert, and he jammed on the brakes, started sliding the rear tires, and the 63 car went around on him. But I want to note, this is Robert. Robert is planning to step into the race control booth here with Elite, or with the Elite Cup Series. So from him, he said this was potentially his final race running this Cup Series, and he's been racing since 2019. So, thank you to Robert and for stepping aside and jumping into that role, and hopefully he's able to, have a good result here. That car looks clean. We've seen Robert head on in the fence a few times this season, but it brought him into the booth and with us and whatnot. But Roasted Jim's Coffee number 63 looks okay right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not been his worst wrecks we've seen this year. We've seen some ones where it's absolutely destroyed the coffee beans. Yeah.
Oh, Johnny and Trey Holmes are wrecked on pit road.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, no.
We'll have to go back and see that.
Point, Johnny's just at this point, Johnny's just got to pull it forward and go get off pit road, run around a lap, and come back down. Oh, my goodness. What a heartbreak for a guy who'd been running right up at the front of the field the whole way.
What happened?
Looks like similar contact to what happened with Matthew Weeks and Chad Frankenfield last week that ruined Weeks' car.
I think Trey Holmes thought that his pit stop was earlier than it was because he turned.
Or did Johnny get on the binders here and.
No, I mean he came in at a decent.
Oh, Trey's gonna get him right there.
Trey came way too early. Trey came way too early.
Yeah. And for whatever reason, and I'm not sure what that reason is, iRacing decided to take some of that non-contact while entering pit road. You see how Hosak went through Johnny and Ethan Stanley. Like, they took some of that off. when you're entering your pit box, and it allows for this contact to be made. And so Trey Holmes gets into Johnny Thomas. Last week we had it affect our race with Matthew Weeks.
Johnny Thomas started. Yeah, they're right. They were their pit stops were right next to each other. They qualified right next to each other. So yeah, they not really communicating. We'll just put it as a lack of communication.
And this race is by no means over for Johnny Thomas, right? I mean, we saw Chad Frankenfield go from 27th to second in 2 laps. We can definitely
tanks.
He can definitely make that up. Depending on the damage. Hopefully that 91 car isn't too damaged, but I feel like he'll be okay. On board with Trey, and yeah, there it is, a little bit of contact.
Well, that's not exactly what Johnny wanted, though, but yeah, he'll be able to keep going there. Only not a single driver out so far. Still 40 cars on the lead lap.
Stayed out.
Yeah, Chad did stay out. I think he's just leading a lap.
Yeah, I think he took a lap, and for a guy who's out on points right now, needs every point he can get, and Chad's already, utilized the pack and the draft to get to the front. He knows how to do that. So, Chad and Johnny both, I think, will be perfectly fine jumping forward and trying to draft to the front. They'll probably be working with Jeff Green, who's back there as well. So, Trey Holmes, I guess, is back there now, too.
Now, Jesse Racines just took the wave around. He's going to try to hope for a caution. He's going to risk it. I mean, he's going to be having to probably pit not too much longer. We're already 1/3 of the way through. I mean, we're flying through these laps right now.
You probably have to run. You could probably make this race on one more pit stop at this point. And, with that, the 73 or the 70 car is going to be in a world of hurt because he's going to have to make 2 pit stops. And the minute he pits that first time, he will not be with anybody, and will be, I think, all into the back pretty quickly. Back to a lap down, basically. So,
yep, we're going to be going back green here in just a short bit. I believe lap 46 is the stage caution, so there is 1 bonus point up for grab for these drivers to be able to go out and get right now. But I don't think that's really too many people's concerns.
Maybe only those cars in green on your pylon. Those would be the ones that I think.
Yeah, the ones in green can be worrying about that. Yeah. Yeah, because after this night, it resets. So, I mean, other than that 1 bonus point that you would get, or if you get a race win, the 5 bonus points you get for a race win, those are the points that can help you to carry on to the next cutoff round, the next 3 races. So, yeah, this 1 bonus point for those guys in green would definitely come in handy. As we're going to go back green, it's going to be Adam's going to be starting on the top side with his teammate there, right behind him, and Nick Massey. They're going to be starting on that high lane. Garrison Hogan on the bottom. They're back green here.
Usually teammates. I don't think they're teammates in this series.
No, you were correct. Yeah,
Mountain Man,
yeah, 21 Savage. Yeah, sorry about that. I thought they used to be teammates. They used to be.
Those guys have worked together for a long time, and you can see it as Massey dedicated pretty quickly to that 1 car, but 2 guys who are team cars effectively. Like Garrison Hogan's like a fueled up.
You made the mistake too. It's not necessarily teammates, because that's a Chevy and a Toyota on the bottom.
At the very least, teammates. At the very least, John and Garrison
used to be teammates. Probably in the same district.
Those guys have the
communicating for sure.
Those guys have the same equipment.
So needless to say, the outside and the insides lined up very similarly. Both of them have a Lake Norman car behind them. So.
And 2 guys who run a lot of races with throw it.
Oh,
behind them. Garrison now getting blocked in the middle.
He's going to have the help. Slam from Ethan Stanley. Here comes the 37 there of Ethan Burrell, going to be taken to the outside lane, trying to see if he can go up there and help those Chevys. He's going to have a teammate right behind him, a Dustin Dewar. He wiped the dust off the wall and wiped it off his car, and now going back at it. The high lane's got quite a bit of momentum. Dropping down to the bottom goes Do Good. They're going to try to rock it up to the front. I tell you, if this is how this car reacts, the last lap is going to be insane. It's just going to be absolutely anybody's chance at winning. I don't think there's at any point, if you're on the lead lap, I think you have a shot at it. Just depends on who gets hooked up.
Got a lead one for Mama there, or Grandma there, but he's going to come up short to Josh Adams and Nick Massey on the top there.
Ethan Burrell just needs a top 20 finish, and he locks himself in. So he's got to be able to get. Oh, Dustin Jour zigzagging on the back bumper is not going to help that. Here comes the third lane starting to form up, trying to form up once again. Ethan Stanley has been pretty dedicated to the back of Garrison Hogan.
With Hogan, with Cutler jumping to the top, that outside lane's losing a lot of his strength. Dusty Dewar gave Ethan Burrell a big shot on the back straightaway, and now he's giving him more shot in the corner. 32 and 37 trying to get clear of that outside lane. I'd probably think about moving up if I was able to get clear, but it doesn't seem like they are. Tyler Footy able to give the help to Nick Massey there on the outside, and Josh Adams will lead at the line once again. Now Footy in the outside lane.
Here comes a block. Adams goes up in front of Footy. Puts a massive block on him. The middle lane's going to drop back. Now it's going to allow that bottom lane to surge. Here comes Ethan Burrell able to get back out front. But don't look now. Here comes that middle lane starting to form back up again. And now rocketing back out to the front. It goes back to Adams. And now
here comes Cullen.
Oh, boy. You'd almost have to look in your mirror more than you look in the front because there's so much runs coming at you. You don't know when you're going to get past. It's gonna come at you fast.
This is absurd. Here comes Cutlass to the outside of Adams. Adams has really thrown the blocks needed to stay up at the front of the field, but now he's got to throw the block on Ethan Burrell on the bottom of the racetrack. Cutlass leads at the line. Adams has the momentum, so does Garrison Hogan up top.
It's anybody's guess which lane is going to have the momentum next. It's hard to tell. It's hard to even be able to keep track of who's who. At this point, it's a color of rainbows right now, folks. As so many drivers are switching lanes, it's hard to keep track of where they're at on track. But here comes that outside lane now, jumping back down to the bottom. Goes Ethan Stanley now going to rocket himself out to the front with Nick Massey right behind him. Now the outside middle lane's going to try to form back up. Now it's Tyler Footy and Garrison Hogan work together. It's a good old hokey dokey. Round up your partner and get going.
Look at this scoreboard right here. 3 green cars right there at the top. I think those are all our green cars. 10 laps to the stage, and there they all are. They've migrated right to the front. They're the most aggressive right now. And Hogan, Stanley, and Footy, those guys are trying to grab that extra point. It shows you how important it is and how you can go extremely aggressive when you are locked into that next round. How important is that?
Well, here comes another driver with nothing to lose, trying to get that outside lane working again. He's not being denied right now. He's going to try to be a factor here. That's Adams. He's still trying to see if he can be able to get his way back up to the front. It seems like aggression's the only way you can keep yourself up front for the long run.
Speaking of guys who have nothing to lose, here's that 95 car, Gavin Hibbs. He's up to 4th. Here's Brent Jones in the 89. He's up to 7th. Here's Trey Holmes. We saw him and Johnny Thomas bouncing off each other on pit road. Both of them are back up into the top 15.
I don't know how anybody can stay seated with the action right now. There's so much going on. Right now, it looks like Tyler Footy is leading, which is an amazing super speedway driver. But we haven't seen him out front in a super speedway race in a little bit. It's been a minute since he's had a dominating performance. Is this going to be the start of his domination here? As here comes Trey Holmes trying to get to the outside. It's going to be now looking to the outside. He's going to get to the outside of Matthew Weeks. Is Tyler Footy going to go up there? He will. He'll put up a block.
Trey here comes Jeff Green. Behind 40.
Yeah, there was that dude that was turned around not too long ago, all the way back up to 3rd. It doesn't matter where you're at on track. You can still find a way up to the front.
Black from Tyler Footy there to keep the lead, but look at how it's changed behind him and how the dynamic of the race has changed. Two guys who had wrecked each other on pit road, running 2nd and 4th right now, and you got Sonny D on the bottom of the racetrack, pushed by Josh Adams, trying to make that bottom lane work back to the front.
Yeah, here comes Andrew Rucker in the 64, trying to see if he can get one of his first laps led of the season. He's going to be trying to get that bottom lane going. Here comes into the middle, Jeff Green, with the help of Johnny Thomas. They're going to lead Trey Holmes out to dry on the outside. Tyler Fody puts a block. Is he going to go down to make the block on the bottom lane, or is he going to stay in front of Jeff Green? Right now it looks like
for Johnny Thomas. Yep, Tyler's staying up in front of Jeff Green. Jeff's a really good pusher in these super speedways. He's a guy you definitely want to keep behind you because he'll get to your back bumper pretty easily on these cars. But how cathartic was it for Johnny Thomas to shove Jeff Green right by the guy who spun him out on pit road?
Yeah, well, it didn't hurt him too much. The drivers that have been spun out or facing backwards were all in the top 5 for a little bit there. Oh, Rucker got hooked a little bit. Here comes the outside. Johnny Thomas now going to try to see if he can get out to the outside. He's going to be trying to help Jeff Green. As now here comes, they shot back down to the bottom. Here comes David Tooker. Going to try to get back up in front. We were wondering how aggressive David Tooker was going to be here, and he is still showing some aggression at the super speedway. He's going to try to jump out to the outside. He's going to have no help. That was a surprise by his Toyota teammate. Did not come to help him. Jeff Green to the outside. Trey Holmes going to follow Tate Lytle or Tooker to the middle.
Yeah, Jeff's going to fall back here.
Oh,
David Tooker and
Garrison Hogan.
Oh, they're wrecking.
Adams around.
What lips involves?
Matthew Weeks,
not too
I think.
badly damaged, I don't think. Oh, I don't think Weeks was involved.
Yeah, I think he was at the
Cutlip
start
definitely was.
Adams involved. I think Leighton Norgard was involved.
Weeks was at the start of it, and it was because David Tooker was so slow. Trey Holmes decided to wait on him there, and it looks like Josh got into Weeks. Cutlip's going to be the one to take the brunt of that hit, but it looks like that car kind of net-coated off of Josh. I think the 5 will be okay. The big hits are Norgard, Hearn, William White, Gopher, who bounces off of Adams right there, and then I think he also gets William White as well. Not William White, who's the blue car.
Up there, I think that's a 73 there.
It's Richie. Yeah.
Richie Hearn, who was minding his own business, getting involved in this. Whoa, the 13. Oh, man. Oh, boy.
I will note, the caution is out, right? The caution was definitely out. We talked about
he wasn't slowing up too much
and how it was hurting some guys. He did not. Everybody else was slowing up for that one because the caution was definitely out. 13 was he was not interested in slowing up there in that time.
Yeah, Christopher. Again, his start has been in the middle of the season here, and he's had a little bit of criticism from drivers for the amount of wrecks he's been in for such a short amount of time he's been with us, and this is definitely not gonna be a way to be able to prove that you can be able to avoid these wrecks when you go into a wreck that fast. It might have been a situation he just locked it up and was unable to get it slowed down enough, but that was a lot of speed he went into that wreck.
He's coming down pit road. I'm a little surprised. I would have thought you'd wait. I guess it's fine. They still want pit stops at the end.
Yeah, I mean, staying out doesn't necessarily mean that you're in any better shape to be able to get the stage win. You're just risking your win if it goes green from here on. I mean, the stage win, we saw Jeff Green get turned around, and then in 10 laps, he's back out leading it.
Tyler
fuel only for Tyler
first and second.
Yeah,
it's going to be fuel only for everybody, I think.
For the
most
most
any
part.
shot we can go on board with Dusty Dewar on that last track.
Sure.
Then after that, we'll do a commercial break here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There.
A good one for your pod, Gerald.
This is all good for my pod.
It happens in front of him, and it happens in front of him again, and there's another one sliding down the track.
When it's your week, it's your week, you know? Yep. Dusty getting his first win and doing a great job avoiding there. But we're going to go ahead and take our first commercial break. If this was Fox Sports 1, this would be like our 8th commercial break at this point in this many laps. But we're going to have our first commercial break here. When we get back, we're going to go ahead and see how many laps until the stage end here.
The NASCAR Cup Series returns to Worldwide Technology Raceway on June 1st and 2nd, 2024. The time to get your tickets is now. For only $10 down, you can lock in your seats for an incredible weekend of family fun, featuring the Enjoy Illinois 300 and the Confluence Music Festival. Racing, music, camping, It all adds up to one amazing party. Go to www.raceway.com for the hottest ticket of the year.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we're back. Coming to the restart here. The stage end will be at the end of lap 47 is what we're being told by race control. So that will give us essentially, what is that, 3 laps left to go in this race or in this stage end?
3 laps for the stage, and you'll
Now,
note
there's not a
our green
caution.
drivers.
Yeah, yes, go ahead. Yeah, you're the green drivers there.
Yep, they are first, second, and sixth. The 40, 36, 92 guys who've won the races each of the last 2 weeks, Ethan Stanley and Garrison Hogan, and Tyler Fode, who locked himself in on points by virtue of having a couple of top 5 runs in those races. Those guys are going to be the most aggressive, I think, over these next 3 laps to try and retain that track position and grab that halfway point. Johnny Thomas up here in 3rd place on this restart, and he'll certainly be giving it a run. That point can't hurt you. Even if you don't make it into that next round, it'll still help. And Johnny's been aggressive today.
Absolutely. Yeah, like we said, those drivers in green, they have nothing really to lose other than a chance to try to go for the race win if they get caught up in something. But again, a chance for being able to get that point, 1 point that carries over to the next round of the cutoff could be very important, especially with how tight the competition is. And it is incredibly tight this season with all these drivers, as they're going to be going back green here. We're going to have essentially 3 laps to go in this. Now there is no caution, so they do continue to go green even after they get crossed. It's just that a point that's awarded out at the end of lap 47. The green flag is out, and there's a checkup on the bottom, as it looks like that outside lane is going to have a big run here. Gavin Hibbs to the back of Tyler Fode, Ethan Stanley behind him. So that outside lane should get quite a big run down that back straightaway. We should see Garrison Hogan probably drop back just a little bit. Now, then again, we've seen Johnny Thomas be able to hook up with a driver and take off even with just tandem drafting. But I don't know. That outside lane seems to be pretty hooked up right now.
Outside's definitely the stronger lane at this moment. Here comes Ethan Stanley, another one of those green drivers, dropping to the bottom of the racetrack. That's going to kind of hang him out, though. He's going to end up falling back towards Garrison Hogan, and that might slow up the bottom even more. Outside, watching them pro edge cars, David Tooker, Matthew Weeks, they might huck to the bottom here and try to tandem draft past Hibbs and Fode.
Yeah, Ethan Stanley's going to try to... Ethan Stanley and Gavin Hibbs have been doing a good job of somehow finding each other and being able to help themselves get up to the front. Now, when they get up to the front, they usually, one or the other, leaves the other out to dry. David Tooker dropped right down
Here goes
on the
Fode.
front of Ethan Stanley. And of course, Tyler Fode showing that he's back to his dominating ways at the Super Speedway. Not afraid to put the block. Here comes David Tooker. Oh boy, hooked the back of Tyler Fode there. Gets in front of Gavin Hibbs, but now Tyler Fode has his teammate there, Ethan Stanley. They're going to be able to hook up now and start to get away into turns 3 and 4.
Big run by Hibbs, though, and pushed by Matthew Weeks right there. Weeks is a guy who could definitely use that point. He's up in the points. Certainly not locked in by any means after that disaster at Chicagoland, but the regular season's champion and a guy who's won the Daytona 500, and he was second at the other Daytona race. Matthew Weeks is the guy to watch out for here on this last lap of the first day.
It is not over for anybody. We still have 38 drivers on the lead lap, still within 4 seconds of the lead. All 40 drivers that started the race are still on track here. So needless to say, these cars are still amped up and going. We're coming down to only a lap and a half left in this stage. David Tooker is now going to be dropped down or cut off there to the bottom lane. Gavin Hibbs now drops down there to try to get a run, but that allowed David Tooker to have his teammate Matthew Weeks to be able to line up behind him. I think these two drivers are going to try to race it out to the end if they can hook up together here.
David Tooker, Matthew Weeks. Weeks doesn't poke out. It will be David Tooker to get that halfway stage. Now, if Tooker makes it into the next round, that's
I think it's the end of lap 47.
End of 47.
Oh, okay.
End of 47.
End of 47. Oh, we were a lap early there. Ray Holmes to the bottom.
Now looking to the outside. Here comes a driver to the outside. I don't even see a number. I don't know who that is.
It's number 44. It's Michael Goodman.
That's Michael Goodman.
Like a cow.
Corey
Goody
Abbott
and
trying to get that
Kachow. We're
outside
Ethan
lane.
Burrell up top.
David Tooker drops down to the bottom. He's going to be able to have his teammate or supposed teammate right behind him helping him. I think they may be able to have this. They're hooked up in tandem. I don't think anyone's going to be able to have the speed to catch them. At the line to get the stage point is going to be David Tooker with the help of his teammate there. Oh, Goodman around, big wreck. Chad Frankenfield.
Big wreck way behind this group. Oh, it's Goody and Kachow. Robert slides through. Chad's wrecked.
I saw Goodman
Delicato
go straight into the wall. Hard.
Oh. Goody led that outside line up to the front.
Oh no, Chad.
He goes to get in front of Chad right here, and Chad just cuts to the outside, and Goody's expecting Chad to bump draft him right there.
And Chad said, "No, I'm not going to bump draft you."
Chad said he went across his nose. Do we see that?
I mean,
yeah.
Well, Chad took him 4 wide. So,
I mean, Chad took him 4 wide, but Goody did go up.
Chad bump drafts Goody. There's no wreck.
You can use the dotted line as a reference point. But I don't think Goody was prepared for a 4 wide move made on him when he thought that Chad was coming up on him. But still,
Ethan Burrell's involved in this a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't know that damage is going to hurt the 37 car.
No, not with how much of a tank these cars are. I mean,
again,
no, he's fine. He's fine.
I think he'll be okay. Yeah,
that's probably 10 seconds worth of damage. So no, I don't think Ethan Burrell in the slightest is hurt from that. But Goodman, I think Good and Chad
Goody
is pretty hurt.
Well, and you say that, and then Goody will fix the damage, and Ethan Burrell was down pit road this past time by.
Yeah,
Goody will fix the damage, right? And he'll come back and finish with the top 10 later when the whole field wrecks, the green-white checkered. So, mark my words down on that one.
These cars are tanks. they can take a hit and then you just come down, change the oil, and it's good to go again. So that's about all you have to do in these things. We're gonna have. I think that's probably be.
I think they can make it from here.
Might make it from here. They might be able to. If not, it's going to be close on fuel. But it looks like
they're just going to top the fuel tanks off.
Yeah.
So you're not coming in and taking tires. You've unchecked those down the back straightaway on your board, and you're going to come down, take a little splash of fuel, fill it all the way up, and then drive away. Until Jeff went in the wrong pit box. Jeff Green did. Hasn't mattered yet, though. The track position is easy to acquire.
I do think Goodman also came on there and took blame for it as well. He said, yeah, he came on board and said he didn't know where to go. So I know everyone in the chat jumped me and said that it was Chad's fault. I agree. I think it's always Chad's fault. I think Chad should have pushed Goody. So if you want my opinion. Yes, it's Chad's fault.
When in doubt.
Even though he's probably not going to get blamed for the wreck, it was still Chad's fault.
We can say that Chad put Goody in a tough position.
Chad puts everybody in a tough position.
Zach Evans asked if we get to throw hats on the track if Chad causes 3 wrecks, a la hockey when you throw Hats on the, for 3 goals.
Does it have to be just
where
3?
you throw your hat.
Oh,
We've
pay
seen
some
it
bills.
before.
Want to do a read?
We have seen it before.
Yeah, go ahead and do a read for us here.
Dave, are you unmuted?
Yeah.
Let's check that first.
Yeah, as far as I know, Zach hasn't said he hasn't heard me tonight, so.
Yeah, I hear
We never
you on
did figure that out the other night. But,
I hear you on.
but everybody hears
We
me.
got you? We're there? We can
Yeah,
think so,
I
yeah.
can hear him. I
make
hear him.
sure.
I hear him on YouTube. He's good.
So
Go
I'll
ahead
tell
and
you
do your
about
read. That's
I'll tell you about Belly Up Sports then, because Belly Up Sports is the internet sports bar, sports commentary via podcast, forums, and articles on topics ranging to nearly every sport. Not your usual sports site. Check them out on X or at bellyupsports.com. Premier partners, Blue Egg Marketing. Rev up your business with Blue Egg, your marketing pit crew. Turbocharge your lead generation with experienced drivers that can navigate the competitive track to connecting with your customers. With Blue Egg, you're always in the pole position, you're leading your brand toward victory lane. Don't spin your wheels and accelerate success with Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win big. And finally, Worldwide Technology Raceway. Worldwide Technology Raceway is a motorsports racing facility in Madison, Illinois, just east of the St. Louis Arch. It features a 1.25-mile oval that hosts NASCAR Cup Series, NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and the NTT IndyCar Series. They have an infield road course used by Speed Tour Trans Am, SCCA, and Porsche Club America, a quarter-mile NHRA drag strip that hosts the annual NHRA Camping World Drag Racing Series Midwest Nationals, and the Kartplex, a state-of-the-art karting facility. And hopefully, everyone heard that tonight.
I think so.
we
You did
did.
a
We got
wonderful job
confirmation.
there, Dave. Yeah. Well, we appreciate everyone for tuning in tonight for the Carol Richards Memorial Race, as this has been truly exciting. I don't think I've seen such aggressive driving at Talladega, and to be honest, it's been fairly clean. It's definitely been mean and aggressive, but it's been fairly clean for mean and aggressive, and we haven't necessarily seen the quote-unquote big one yet, but then again, we still have roughly around, 43 laps left to go in this event. So we're just a little past halfway. Still a lot of racing left to go. Still a lot of questions to be answered. We still have all 40 drivers still on the racetrack. Only 2 drivers one lap down, and still undecided as to where people are going to stack up. So needless to say, with that being said, I guess even though Goodman went head on into the wall with Chad Frankenfield, both of them still have a decent enough car to still be on track. So that's
Only Seth Roll seems to be in the pits right now, so I don't know if we caught that Seth was involved in that last incident, but he's the only car off track at the moment.
he's 1 lap down.
All right, showing
Yeah,
up pit on my end, but
Oh, my bad.
it looks
Oh,
like
the
he came
green
off.
flag.
Green flag's back out.
Green flag's back out. David Tooker able to lead that bottom lane. Trey Holmes right behind him. Here comes the Lake Norman cars there, the 40 and the 92. Tyler Foote going to try to see if he can find his way back out front. You know, if he does, he's going to go back to his blocking ways to make sure he doesn't lose that lead once again. Dropping down to the bottom, there goes the 89 there. Brent Jones having a really good night, showing some prowess here at the Super Speedways.
I have exactly nothing to say about Brent Jones. We're gonna hold the applause till the end. No jinxes allowed.
Yeah, well, we tried doing that with Goody, and that didn't help at all last time, saying he was going to wreck. He's still wrecked. But
Yeah.
I don't know how to not do the commentator curse. It just happens.
It just seemed I've got too much power. I have to know. Oh my goodness!
Caution's out.
Flipping
Caution
Hogan.
is out.
Oh,
I'm not sure where the wreck happened. Oh,
there it is.
in the very back of the pack.
Stouffer.
Is that Carlos
is that Chris
Acosta?
Stouffer again?
Oh no.
Oh,
Carlos Acosta and Chris
Carlos.
Stouffer around. Oh
that's
no.
what were you saying about Stouffer?
No, I don't think it was Stouffer
No,
this
looks
time.
like that one's it looks like that one's on Carlos. Came up the track a little bit. Right when the car gets light there on corner exit, and Carlos let her drift, but he was side by side, and he didn't really have the room to come up as much as he did.
I'm surprised that was a caution, though. They were in the very back of the field, and iRacing has been so lax on cautions that usually when it's in the back, they don't even cause a caution for it. No one's coming up on them. So that's crazy that it actually caused one.
A weird spot. It was fully off the corner. That wasn't corner exit. They were
No,
fully
that
on
was
the
down the
straightaway.
yeah,
Carlos
that was
started to
straight
move up the
away.
track. Yeah, and just one of those mistakes. Running at the back, and yeah, from race control tally on that 0-2 car, and I think I have to agree with that one.
Do you think we should bring up Ethan Burrell to give us a shout out for his grandmother's memorial race here?
Absolutely.
Alrighty, let's go ahead and bring up Ethan Burrell here. I'll bring him up into the booth. Ethan Burrell, do you got us? This is Gerald in the booth.
What's going on, Gerald?
Hey, sir. We've been seeing a lot of craziness out there. You've been involved in just a little bit of it. Not too bad. Not like your teammate there of Goodman. We see you going back down pit road. How close is it for your grandmother's memorial race? How close is it on fuel to be able to make it from here?
We're gonna be. Oh boy. Okay, a little bit of traffic jam there. It's gonna be close, man. We're gonna be after this pit stop. I think I'm about half gallon short, but that's plenty doable if it somehow went green to the end here in the draft. But I don't think that's gonna happen. These guys are a bunch of basket cases, man. I'm just trying to. I wrecked out with a good points buffer on Monday. I'm just trying not to do that tonight. But these guys are crazy.
Absolutely, it's been wild to watch it up here with the amount of blocks being taken place. But we gave a shout, call out to your grandmother's memorial race. We wanted, as her favorite driver, to if you can just be able to if you have anything that you want to say for your grandmother's memorial race here. I mean, we really appreciated her watching for so many years, and of course with her favorite grandson there and winning prowess all the time. She got to see a lot of your victories in the Elite Racing Network, and just wanted to see if you wanted to make any comments here tonight.
Yeah, for sure. She was a big fan. She watched. I'm not even kidding you. Every single Elite race that I ran. If I wasn't running, she usually didn't watch them, but she was always cheering me on, and it was always so nice having her watch. And it was kind of put a little bit of pressure on me. It kind of made it more exciting for me, though. Even if I was feeling kind of down in the racing stuff, it always motivated me to keep trying to win. And I tell you what, my favorite part, though, it's not just having her watching every race and cheering me on, but the fact that she was the biggest Chad Frankenfield hater, and that was absolutely awesome. So every time Chad wrecked out, man, she was jumping with joy.
She probably would have torn the TV down when she saw Chad get you involved in a wreck. She probably would have. Oh
yeah, she was plotting for how I'd get payback on Chad whenever me and him got together. But yeah, man, it was, and it is unbiased too, because she watched every race. So she saw firsthand, just like you guys in the booth, who does what week in and week out, and Chad was at the top of her bad list. So that tells you something.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we wanted to just give you a shout out here. Good luck. Hopefully things turn out better than they did for Monday night with you, because you were 20. You were 27 points above the cutoff line on Monday night, and you're 34 points
tonight. Yeah.
But
so
I'm gonna give this last shout out. If you would have finished in the position you did last night with 34, with 34-point cushion, you still would have not made it.
Yeah.
So needless to say, you just can't do what you did. And with all 40 cars still on track, it's not over.
No, it's not over, man. As long as this thing's straight at the end of this thing, I'll try to be up there. It'll be good.
Alrighty, well, we're gonna put you back in there with the Do Good boys, and maybe get Do Good 2 wins this week. That'd be pretty impressive.
That's right, Dusty back to back.
Oh, you're pushing Dusty to the win.
Oh yeah.
All right.
See, I'll finish second, be just fine. I'll make the next round. We'll be good. It'll be perfect.
Alrighty. Well, good luck out there, Ethan.
Thanks, buddy.
That was Ethan Burrell there. trying to see if he can be able to move into the next round. He finished third in the regular season, so he's been having a really wonderful season. Already got one win down this season already, and trying to see if maybe by the end of it he might be able to lock down a second or be able to get do good their second win, it looks like. So back out front is, of course, Ethan Burrell's a grandmother's worst driver enemy, Chad Frankfield, leading the field. I think he did stay out there to be able to get out into the front.
Crump, I think, is the control car at second.
Yes.
Rabilis third. We haven't talked about Mark Rabilis at all tonight. He's come back from the lap down to third, and Chad got her banging doors on the start.
On the start, came up and hit Crump, and I don't know why, but he did. Just to get a licking, just to get a taste, just a taste.
Those two are known best friends.
Well, and right behind him is, of course, a guy that would love to be able to turn Chad Frankenfield around. That's Mark Rabilis there, and trying to do so, he is zigzagging on that back bumper of Chad Frankenfield, and everyone's trying to get out from that bottom lane. They do not want to be around them right now. That looks scary. Out front, Scott Crump able to get in front. Go ahead.
How about this one car? Josh Adams was wrecked on the back straightaway about 20 laps ago. He's now back up in third. He used the staying out strategy to get that track position back. That car doesn't look too bad. See if he can catch up to David Tooker and give him a bump draft here. If not, then there's some of that damage that's hindering his ability to draft up. But I think it's okay. He's getting there. You can see Tooker's a little bit faster, but Adams is able to suck up in the draft. I think that one car can still be competitive.
I think these cars don't have damage on. They look like they got damage, but they must not. Because Goody's already back in the top 20. Yeah, Goody's in the back in the top 20, and he slammed the wall. Slammed it, and he's back in the top 20. Oh, they're wrecking again!
Oh, they're wrecking again!
Sonny D around! Huge wreck! Not a car hurt.
Sonny Thomas was involved in this one, but I don't know that it was that bad. Ethan Burrell just stopped on the apron. We're going to have to go on board with Ethan right after we talked about it. He almost got sucked up into this one. Let's see what happened here.
Oh, no, Dustin Dewar. Oh, netcode. Netcode got
a little bit of netcode.
Sonny D, yeah.
We tried to get around and he's going to catch Vandermarl.
Man. Vandermarl hurt.
How bad is Johnny? Cutlip. Oh, my goodness. Cutlip got so close to getting involved in this. And Delicato on the apron again. Vandermarl's pretty heavily damaged. Vandermarl might be the worst off of anybody there. That right front tire.
I think it's tire. Yeah, the tire is a weak link on this car, and I think that's a race ending. Damn. A little bit.
Look at this.
And then, Johnny Thomas.
Look at Brent Jones shoots the gap right here. It shoots the gap, and then Vandermarl gets hooked by Dusty. Dusty's got some big right front damage as well. I don't know if Dusty's going to be going back to back now.
No, his back tire. He broke.
Talked about him too.
He broke his back tie rod, I think, or linkage in the back. He broke the linkage in the back. His back tire is done. He's going to be out from that one. Let's take a look a little bit. Can we get a wider shot and see and just kind of get a shot of maybe like Ethan Burrell.
We definitely need to go on board with Ethan.
I like that shot. I like that wider angle. I like that shot. That's going to give us a really good shot of just kind of everyone scattering here.
See if anybody's involved that we weren't expecting.
Bumpers.
Weeks was, I think, or at the beginning. Oh, well, William White's got big damage. Brett, he took the Jolly Roger off, and right here, Ethan almost gets taken out by Hosat coming back up the racetrack.
I think the King of England asked him to stop decimating the English flag, the Union flag. So I think they requested that he take the Union flag if he was going to get involved, and then in an elite race because it was getting destroyed a lot. So I think it was for some kind of law in England that he had to have it off.
Yeah, it happened. Johnny, I don't think Johnny or Weeks have that much damage because I think Johnny gets damage on White. I can't tell. Hopefully that the 91's all right, but
I think these
Could
cars are
be-
good as long as you don't destroy, don't hit in the tire.
Garrison. I didn't notice
Stop.
Garrison was all the way at the back there. He had been up at the front the whole race, and he had to stop for this.
He picked a good time to be. Just stop.
He and Jesse, Tate Lytle, Ryan Gable, all getting through this without any damage. Garrison just locked it down. He just decided. He and Jesse both were just like, that's it. We're good. We'll just wait. iRacing will give you your spots back if you stop for the wreck like that. And Garrison was able to blow up, get around the 43. Damage free, 36 will go for the win.
I do believe probably more than likely, I believe at least 2 drivers will be out from this wreck. Dustin Dewar and Justin Vandermeer are almost a lot to be out with the suspension damage that they have. That's about the only Achilles heel to this race car is that it's that suspension of this car.
Stanley.
Yeah, I think a couple
Stanley's going
guys
up the road.
decided to top up, but I think at this point everybody knows they can make it in on fuel at this point.
Ethan said he was half a lap short a few laps ago, so I didn't catch whether anybody came down pit road. We were watching replays. But it doesn't look like anybody did visit pit road that was up in this top group. So, especially guys like Crump, Frankenfield, stayed out, Adams as well. Before the last pit stop, I don't know if those guys can make it. Now, I think everybody else who had pitted up before that previous caution, or on that previous caution, and now has pitted, all of those people can make it. But I don't think Scott Crump is going to be good on fuel.
Top 4 did not pit. Hooker pitted on lap 58. 8 came in on 54, and then there's a whole run of 58s all the way back the rest of the way.
All right. That whole group.
Crump's the low man.
On back has pitted.
Crump came in on 49. Dad came in on 40.
Yeah, neither of them can make it, I think. I think that those are the two that absolutely cannot make it, even if they stay.
Well, the pace has come to an abrupt halt. We went. The first 30, 40 laps it just blew by with the green flags and people able to save it, and then all of a sudden it's just been a twist of fates here, and it's slowed down the pace dramatically here with these cautions coming out. So we're gonna hope that they're able to make it more than a couple laps here, as we still have 34 laps left to go. These boys just need to be able to maybe just finish this thing out for a little bit before they start racing it down to the wire. Again, that we've seen drivers come from the dead back of the pack up to the front in essentially 5 or 6 laps. It doesn't take that much to do. So hopefully we'll see how they're able to do. But I think the cutoff has gotten to some of these drivers. they feel it right now.
A lot of aggressive racing here, and we'll see what happens.
Now, we didn't commentator curse Dustin Dewar. I would give that to Ethan Burrell, commentator curse Dustin Dewar.
Yeah, Ethan just claimed credit for it in the driver chat.
Yeah.
He absolutely did.
Green flag back out. Scott Crump able to lead that outside lane with Jeff Green right behind him. David Tooker lined up in the 3rd spot behind Jeff Green. They're going to try to see if they can be able to push past those. I believe that's the Little Eagle on the bottom lane there.
Yep. That is Little Eagle. It is Ryan Scholz pushed by Chad Frankenfield. Tate Lytle in tow down there, and Ryan Scholz going for the race lead on the back straightaway.
Jeff Green's going to...
Got the run.
I'm waiting for Jeff Green to try to see if he can find a way to poke his nose out behind, try to make it 3 wide. I know Jeff Green, he's a great pusher, but he likes to lead more than he likes to be pushed, or likes to do the pushing. So I'm sure if he can find a way to get around Scott Crump. Scott Crump is leaving a lot of room to make that 3rd lane work if Jeff Green so chooses.
Yeah. Looking content right now. We mentioned the do-good cars, right? Dustin Dewar, Ethan Burrell, their other teammate there. That's the 2 car, Jeff Green. He's up here and running 2nd. He's got the team cars. You can see Ethan in the yellow car kind of further in the back. No teammates up there for Jeff Green right now. He's all by himself. He's working with Scott Crump and David Tooker pretty well.
And Little Eagle trying to get that bottom lane going. They're starting to. They're getting the help from Tate Lytle. Jeff Frankenfield on that back bumper of the 4. Trying to get Scholl back up to the front. But we got a third lane starting to form. Here comes Ethan Burrell starting to try to make that outside lane. And here comes the driver that we talked about being in the back, Garrison Hogan. Oh, here comes Adams dropping up to the outside to make that block. And Jeff Green late block. Able to get that push. I knew if he could get around Scott Crump, he was going to try to find a way. He saw it, and if he waited at any moment to make that move, it would have been too late. That was just at the time. Oh, they're getting pushy a little sideways. Oh, no.
I mean, you called exactly what Jeff was going to do right there. The run came. Jeff took it straight to the top, went right around Scott Crump for the race lead. Now, Scott Crump fought back on the bottom. Jeff now leads the outside lane, pushed by Josh Adams. Burrell has worked his way up into the top 5. Look at that. Right there. I guess he's 6, but Garrison just cuts the outside. Ethan is now stuck in the middle.
Oh,
Garrison just hit the wall.
Up in the wall, yeah. He slowed down quite a bit. That's going to slow that outside lane a little bit. It's going to allow Ethan Burrell to try to get that middle lane working. He's going to have the help of Matthew Weeks right behind him. They're dropping down to the bottom. Here comes Jeff Green. He does not want to be held up. He wants that lead, and Scott Crump is messing with fire right now because Jeff Green will find a way, or he will make a way to get back to the lead.
Hooker blocked off Garrison Hogan, and Jeff Green's going to go to the bottom. Now Crump unable to block that outside lane. Josh Adams is going to have to push the 90 cards. Do good out to the front with Green and Burrell, and Matthew Weeks is also going to clear those outside lanes.
And here comes a driver we haven't talked about a lot. That's the 74 Pern now making his presence known in the top 5, able to lead that bottom lane behind Weeks. I think David Tooker. Good job,
but that outside line's going to swallow you up quick.
I think David Tooker's going to be a presence known. He can make a really good push, and he can also be pushed really well. He is always seeming to be able to get these big runs made, either by being pushed or pushing someone until they leave him out to drive. Garrison Hogan dropped down to the bottom. I don't know why he did that. There was no one there to go with him. I don't know why he dropped down
paying the price for it now. What did we call it at Daytona? What would we call the middle lane?
Trash chute. The trash chute. But it's
there
not
goes
Garrison
Hogan down the trash chute.
We've seen the middle lane work. It's not like Daytona where you couldn't get the middle lane to work. You can get any lane to work here. It's such a bizarre package that we've brought here to Talladega. I mean, you can make tandem work. You can get 5 cars lined up to work. It's just who's able to be aggressive. It just takes aggression to get a lane to work.
Garrison's already back up to the top of the racetrack, but while you were talking, I want to point out Ethan Burrell did lead a lap for him.
There you go. Able to get one lap led there. He's going to hope they can get more here before it's all said and done. Now he's going to try to see if he can jump up now in front of Matthew Weeks to lead that middle lane. 4 wide.
Yep, they're 4 wide. Ricky got into Scott Crump.
Around goes short. No caution.
Oh, they're wrecking.
No caution.
Got to stay in it now.
He's going to come back up. That might lead it. No, he saved it. He had the cone on track, though.
Everybody's still green.
Hearn was not expecting it to be 4 wide, and it led to him pinballing off of people. He did. You ever saw a fish that got pulled out of the water and dropped on land? It kind of looked like that. He flopped around. He did not like the spot he was in. That's kind of spread out a little bit.
It's broken the field back just a bit. It looks like they'll be able to get back going. There's not a big gap anywhere. There's a car filling those gaps. I think everybody should be able to. Well, Ethan Burrell into the trash chute. But he should be able to group back up. And here comes the teammate to Ethan Burrell and Jeff Green.
You think we can go back and take a look at that, Dave?
We can give it a shot.
We can give it a shot. That's all we ask for. Yeah, Jeff Green decided to jump down. To be fair, there was more than enough lane down there. 74 goes up there.
Richie definitely got.
Oh no, that was netcode. Yeah.
Richie definitely got out of shape and didn't commit to running that bottom lane. And when he did, I mean, he left that third lane open to the bottom, and you can see him. He's up too high, and once he gets there, I think he got a little squirrely, a little uncomfortable in the car, and then maybe a little bit of net code with the 90, and it shot him back down the racetrack, and that's where he gets Ryan Schultz.
Yeah,
Lucky this wasn't a bigger wreck.
that is very true. A lot of that was netco right there. With
Schultz could have come up and taken Tyler Fody right out of this race.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, not that many people checked up either, so it didn't hurt too many people there. Other than the 4, he's not. Scholl is not going to be in a great position. Back out front here. Yeah, we got a host of Pro Edge up at the top there, trying to get that outside lane going. Outside and bottom lane.
Out the lane. You got Trey Holmes and Matthew Weeks. You got Jesse Racimus and Ethan Burrell.
I think a win will come down to 2 guys deciding to hook up and just leaving the entire pack. I mean, if you can hook up at the perfect time, I mean, you get out to over a second lead. It's it's a little bit of NOS in the car. It's you can't button for all too long, but when you do, it's going to rock you out front.
And if I had to pick who's going to do it, it's number 1 and number 2 right now. Jonathan Cutlip and Garrison Hogan have been absolutely excellent at pushing and getting that tandem draft working. They've been able to move to the front just about any time they want to. Got Trey Holmes and Matthew Weeks right there as well. There's another group, and then David Tooker is behind Week. Among that top 5, you've got a lot of guys who could definitely engage in that tandem draft style and move forward pretty easily.
You pick those 2. I'm going to go with the 1 and the 48 hooking up. Adams and Nick Massey there. Yep. They seem to be really good at being able to find their way and hooking up together. And they were just about to do it before Trey Holmes jumped down in front of them. Or they're about to give you an example.
Pack has caught back up. It's now, I think, 20 cars deep. Maybe 26 cars deep right now, and that's all the cars I think that were going to catch up to the pack. The group that includes Johnny Thomas, Ryan Scholl, it's way back off the field right now. So this is your battle for the win. These are the guys, I think, kind of fighting it out.
Oh, here goes. Oh, well, I was partially right. Adams pushed Trey Holmes out to a big enough lead there, but now Adams going to jump to the outside lane with Nick Massey right in front of Cutlip. Garrison Hogan's going to drop down to the bottom. For your prediction of where Garrison Hogan's got to be able to stop trying to jump in the middle when no one's in there.
He's doing that.
I don't know why.
He has definitely done that too much.
He's just entertaining himself.
He drops.
I think that might actually be what it is.
And then he drops to the middle and he falls to the back. It's like it's an itsy bitsy spider, Garrison Hogan.
He likes to fall all the way down and come all the way back to the front. Right to the wall, I think he'll be able to
glad you read
the book. Jordan Owens and Chris Stouffer now on the bottom of the racetrack. Chris Stouffer, we looked at him being involved in a number of wrecks in this one. You know, you bring up the point of that this next gen car being such a tank car. Stouffer's up here in the top 5. He's got some damage. Doesn't matter. Josh Adams leading the race. He's been wrecked in this race. Nick and Delicato has not been up front all day. He's been playing safe out the back, but there's 22 to go. He's coming up.
I mean, after watching all these cars getting wrecked and for the most part, none of them getting taken out, why not go out there and practice at how to make this run work? Because you can get damage. You can be involved in a wreck, and unless if you damage your suspension, it's not going to hinder you in the slightest. So why not go out there and try to practice and figure out this car and figure out how to make that tandem work? Because as we said, I mean, that tandem is going to probably be what it takes to win. As you see right there, Matthew Weeks and Cutlip. My prediction on the bottom.
Your tandem. Here's your tandem on the bottom. 30. The 48 and the 1.
Boy, Nick Indelicato jumped up, and Nick Massey was trying to block that run. Oh boy, I thought that was going to be a bad.
Back. Here's another little group coming through the middle. It's Tate Lytle, Kyle Hanshaw. We've been talking about him all night. Right, they get up to the back of Trey Holmes. Trey's falling back right now, so that might stall the progress of the middle lane. It'll allow that inside lane, outside lane to kind of continue their pushing. Harrison Hogan shoving Josh Adams on the bottom. Nick Massey being shoved by Nick Indelicato up top. The line, I want to say it was Massey by just a teensy margin.
I cannot wait until after this race to take a look at all the lead changes, because there has to be, we have to be up to 30 at this point.
Here comes Garrison.
Oh my gosh, just from that
Tyler Cody
moving around, it's unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
Oh, contact.
Oh, he flames it up the track.
Cody almost took out Nick Massey there. Absolutely almost destroyed him.
And Fody was not trying to run into Nick Massey at that point, right? He's trying to cut up there and get the draft from Massey. Massey cut him the slightest break, and look at that, shot them both back out to the race lead.
They act like nothing happened. Literally half a straightaway later, and they just go right back to tandem drafting and pushing themselves back out to the front like it never happened. I can't. I just can't. I can't. It's too much. I can't. I could not be out there doing that right now. I am worrying about points racing for some of those guys. That's a little much. Oh,
well, you are literally a two-time champion of this series.
I didn't get it at
yes,
Talladega.
you could.
Well,
that's
I
true.
don't know. It's more nervous for me watching it here than I guess it was inside the car. Because right now, from outside, this is some of the most hair-raising racing I've seen ever.
You don't have time to react in the car, right? I mean, you're Tyler Cody. You're making that split-second decision to jump to the outside. You're Nick Massey. Car came up in front of you. You have to lift just a split second, and in that lift, you don't spin the guy out, and that's all it takes. Now you got a draft with that guy in front of you, even though he just cut you off. It doesn't matter, because if you don't pay attention to that, you're going to the back. Delicato to the front, but he's going to get hung out to dry on the outside lane. Adams down to the bottom, pushed by Fody, and Garrison Hogan's got the lead on the bottom. He's pushed by Trey Holmes and Jordan Owens.
I see why now that the drivers make a last-second move to jump in front. Because if you give the guy more than just a breath of a time to make a decision, they're not going to push you. They're going to pick a different lane. And you see Nick Indelicato going down the back straightaway, leading the race. Coming back down to the front straightaway, outside the top 20. And that was because he jumped up there too late, and that allowed Adams and Fody to jump down and get around him on the blow. It's just, you don't have a chance. You have to, I guess, do it where they don't have any other option than to push you at this point.
Right. Part of that was, it was not a good move to jump to the top right there. The 1 and 40 had been bump drafting through the corner behind them, and so when he moved up, those guys were already 5 to 10 miles an hour faster. Bumping into Indelicato would cause a wreck like we saw with Tooker earlier in turn 1. Now Fody cuts to the bottom. He'll get pushed by Hogan. That'll link up your tandem of Massey and Adams once again on the top side. And Nick Massey's going to shove Josh Adams and battered and bruised number 1, but it seems to be fine. It's out in the wind. It doesn't seem to matter. That thing is singing, and Adams has been up front all race long with the exception of that middle part when he got wrecked.
Yeah, he's been doing a really good job for the Simply Racing podcast.
That won't help.
What in the world? That middle lane is starting to become a trash chute. No one seems to. They go down the middle lane.
Now they're going to use it.
Fall to the back. Yeah, they're going to try to.
They're going to use it. Nailing in the middle.
Tyler Fody's now got a decent sized lead on that bottom lane. This has been some interesting racing. Again, you see them, they're spread out, and I'm not sure why they're so spread out now.
There was a little bit of a jostling moment there on the back straightaway where things got a little sketchy, but it didn't, they went 3 wide, but it didn't seem like that was a reason to back off. Maybe they're trying to do some fuel saving. Maybe some guys are short and they're trying to save. I know Scott Crump's definitely short, so is Chad Frankenfield. They're hanging out at the back of this pack trying to save fuel. But
Well, give it 2
than
seconds.
that,
They'll be
thought
back
everybody made it.
3 wide. Yeah, I thought so too. But then Give it 3 seconds. They're gonna go back up there. As I say that, here comes Adams now with Ethan Burrell trying to make that third lane work again. Yeah, never mind. I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe they're just having fun out there because yeah, they dropped to the back. They all single filed out, and then they're back to 3 wide racing before you know it.
Cutlip pushed by Tate Lytle, but Cutlip's going to abandon Tate Lytle and jump to the bottom. And that means Garrison Hogan jumping to the top of the racetrack.
Here comes David Tooker, going to be right behind him, trying to get that Toyota 123.
Guys have been, pushing and shoving all race long. You can see how important it is to hold that steady wheel. Get that bump draft, get in the groove, and get in the tandem. And Tyler Fody, Jonathan Cutlip able to now control the race on the bottom with Trey Holmes and Jordan Owens in tow.
Well, folks, comment in the comment section. Tell us how this racing has been for you tonight. This has been some of the most incredible racing we've seen. I've watched and I've been a part of a lot of super speedway racing, but I've never seen this many lead changes and maneuvers being made on the racetrack. I still don't know who has the best race car, who has the best position. There's 15 guys that I feel like have been dominant tonight, and we still don't know who's going to end up with it all at the end.
Right now, I think the one thing we do know is it's going to be a member of this first pack, barring any shocking changes here in this last 13 laps. It's the top 26 right now, and they're going back to 3 wide action. Josh Adams up top, pushed by Nick Massey, a duo we've seen all day long.
Absolutely. They're going to have help from another pair, Jeff Green and Ethan Burrell, trying to get out there and help them on that outside lane. I think I see why it's harder to get up there. Fody has been in the back of the 5 of Cutlip, and they've been doing this partial tandem where they push, and then never mind, that's not going to last for very long.
Ray got tired of waiting.
What a move.
Yeah, they were doing partial tandems. Oh, he still doesn't have it collected.
Here comes Cutlip, and here goes Hogan. Just guys shooting up the racetrack every chance they get. Anytime somebody throws a block in front of Garrison Hogan's lane, he just changes lanes instantly and moves out of that lane.
I was trying to say was Fody and Cutlip were making that bottom lane very, very efficient. Yep. And Trey Holmes is like, nah, no more of that. Got him up to the middle lane, and as soon as we did that, then the bottom lane died out a little bit.
Here comes Tate Lytle to the back over Tyler Fody. Fody to the race lead, and he abandons Jonathan Cutlip. They've got help from Josh Adams there in that middle lane, and then Ethan Burrell and Jeff Green, the do-good cars.
Here comes Ethan Burrell back up into the top 5, trying to get back up there for do-good. He's got his teammate of Jeff Green. We're already coming close down to the final 10 laps, the beating and banging. Oh, boy, the switching. There's so much going on. Tyler Fody able to get back out front there with the tandem, thanks to Tate Lytle, but that's going to set them up for fall here.
Jeff is 4 wide by himself twice. The last lap there. Oh yeah, that's exactly. He's been. There's only really 1 lane in the middle there, maybe 1.5, and Jeff filled 3 lanes in that middle lane. And Cutlip now getting passed by Adams. It'll be Hogan into the back, or Adams to the back of Hogan. Hogan now to the race lead.
Whoa!
All over the place. Hogan slams the door on Tyler Fody.
10 laps to go in this phenomenal race. We almost forget that this is an elimination race. There's a lot on the line and a lot of drivers that have to also look at the points. We've been focusing on the racing aspect of it. We've forgotten completely about the points aspect. There's some drivers that are not in position to make it to the next round if we don't have a caution. One of those being Johnny Thomas all the way back there. He will not make it to the next round in the position. He is 27 seconds behind the leader.
I think Johnny's okay. He's not allowed down yet, and this pack's gonna wreck. You can feel it. You can smell it coming. Josh Adams working with David Tooker up top, Tyler Fody and Hogan on the bottom. Points-wise, every chaser is in this front pack to save Johnny. That might help Johnny in the long run if this group wads him up big.
So you can smell it now. You're Smokey the Bear,
I can smell it.
Smell the fire coming.
Dip it out. You know what Darrell Waltrip used to say? It's the eye of the storm. You can see it. It's circling. He used to draw a circle on the screen, right where the big was. Tell you, oh, it's coming. It's going to happen right here. And then it oftentimes it would.
There's a lot of things Darrell Waltrip said. Whoa! That 13 got sideways there.
Right.
4 wide. Down the tri-oval, 4 wide.
Yep.
It doesn't work
Richie's
out
4 wide
sometimes.
again.
Oh, no.
Didn't work last time for Richie. Hold on to it, Richie. Keep it
They
straight.
still have this, that now they get back
They're
to 3
sorted it
wide.
out. There we go. Josh Adams is back to the race lead. That one car has been able to find it his way to the front in a lot of different ways today.
And Gavin Hibbs now finds his way back up there as well.
Hibbs has a teammate in this front pack. Hibbs and Delicato haven't been able to work together at the front of this field at any point today. They have been at the front at separate points, but not together. And it's really hard to do this without teammates, without cars you trust, without having some trust in somebody that they're going to be able to push you or stay with you. The one guy that hasn't trusted anybody is Josh Adams. He has been blocking everyone. He'll pull out on everybody. It seems like Adams hasn't worked with any teammates in this race. Like he'll help Nick Massey, but he's also left Nick Massey out to dry. As here comes Hibbs to the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to try to leave Josh Adams out, but I think the outside lane's where you want to be.
Absolutely. Well, Adams is a very well-known super speedway racer. He's known to get these runs and get these wins when it matters. Oh, he comes. Man, into the wall. That block by the one caused him to get out of the throttle and right into the outside wall, but they're back full throttle again. Didn't take long and able to get that shove going. Tyler Frody's going to push that one out far in front now. The question is Tyler Frody going to try to sneak out around him? I do think so. He's going to not stay behind him here if he can get a chance.
Yet the run isn't there for the 40 and the 1. Now the 1 moves down the track and 40 goes to the top of the racetrack.
And here comes Jeff Green onto the back of the 1 car. 1-2 right there, trying to see if they could be able to push way back up there again. Oh, the 1 gets sideways. Oh, we got to spin.
Oh, there he goes. Out of the column. No. Oh, Crump's involved. Frankenfield involved.
Oh, hard
Cullip's
contact.
in the wall. That will be the caution.
I think the 13 Schold hit the hardest there. He went backwards into the wall.
Stover?
Yeah, he is. Stover there.
Another wreck for Stover.
The 1 and the 2 were not lined up, and I got the 1 sideways.
No,
they all
all
check up a little bit, and then the lights went out. And then we're back. 13.
Yep.
The
and
5 went around.
right
13,
there, gets into
15. Yeah. 13 hit the wall.
Manshaw got into this.
Yeah, I think that black is.
I
think Cutlip blinked out.
Yep, that's where it would have been. And they started checking up, and I think when Cutlip came back, he was kind of in that contact area with the 13 car.
There you can see
there
Cutlip disappears, and then
now
comes
there's
back.
not a lane. Yep, and then that's it. Norgard got some damage. Brent Jones with a really good job of missing this one. And there's more contact for Norgard and Kyle Hanshaw. Did Chad hit the inside wall hard? Not too hard. I think he'll be all right.
I think that was like a Leighton Norgard's 5th wreck he's been in.
Yeah, Norgard and Stouffer have found their way into a number of wrecks today. Ali is on the 5 car, though. I don't know that there's not much Cutlip could have done. He was kind of net-coded out of the race there for a second.
Yeah, they gave him a blinking warning and the tally.
All right. Okay, well, there you go. At that point, it's just kind of it's not the driver's fault, it's the situation that the driver's in's fault. You can't really control the blinking, but you can also get out of the pack.
Zach Evans says he was just about to throw his hat into the racetrack. He's getting there.
There's still time.
There's still time.
Yeah, now that 15 car is definitely still running.
This is going to set up to, I think, a natural green-white checkered.
Yep, it sure is. And then we'll have 2 more opportunities if we can't get back to the white flag after that. 3 more opportunities, sorry.
3 more, yeah, because it's going to be a natural one. I think all these
guys
drivers
coming down
are
pit
probably
road,
just
they
fixing
are
damage.
Fixing damage. Yep, there's Johnny Thomas, one of those cars.
Cutlip still has a lot of damage there. Let me see where he was at in the cut line. Actually, let's show our folks the point standings as they as they were coming into it, because I think Cutlip was right there on the cut line. He was eighth. He was
points.
only
15 points ahead of Tooker.
I
11
think he
points
had
ahead
to
of Crump.
He had to finish 11th or better to make it in automatically, no matter what. So
Yeah. And the gap there, Crump back to Frankenfield, that's 15 points. Like, any
they're
of
gonna
those
need
guys
to
could point their
probably
way
win.
in.
Yeah,
No, they
but-
could point their way in. That's only
could.
15 points, Gerald.
Yeah, it just
That's
depends on
half
how
the lead lap.
it just depends on how the big wreck shapes up, to be honest with you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, as long as Cutlet stays in the lead lap here, he's got a chance, right? And it, the way this thing could break down into chaos, any of the drivers that we just flashed up on the screen, other than the 3 that are definitely in, could end up out. I think Ethan might be close to in, given that we've retired a few cars. But other than that, like, any of those guys could make it in. Any of those guys can make it out. The caution was just Johnny Thomas's best friend right there.
Let's do a rundown of our top 10, because I guarantee you by the time they get to the backstretch, some of these guys probably won't be in the top 10. Right now, leading the race, Gavin Hibbs, who is the gauntlet driver for this week. So that just so happens that he seems to be leading the race. That'd be awesome. Ethan Burrell running in second place. David Tooker trying to find his way in, doing a really good job in third. Garrison Hogan, who's locked in fourth. Tate Lytle is running in fifth position. Tyler Fody is running in sixth. His teammate right behind him, Ethan Stanley, running in seventh. Trey Holmes having a good run here in eighth. Having a really good run here, Jordan Owens, who's actually ninth. It says 10th. Ninth. Matthew Weeks was missed over. Matthew Weeks is in 10th. Yeah, and then yep, there we go. Matthew Weeks running in 10th. Jesse Racima's trying to work his way, was a lap down earlier, now back up to 11th. Jonathan Adams. I think he still has something to say before it's all said and done. Justin Wadsworth in 13th. The person probably going to be pushing Joshua Adams is going to be that man right there in 14th, Jeff Green. Richie Hearn coming back for a really good run here in 15th. Scott Crump running in 16th. Brent Jones 17th. We'll do the top 20. Seth Rawls 18th, who was a lap down as well earlier. Ryan Gable up to 19th. And then our final driver there, Nick Indelicato, and then we'll just do a shout out for Mark Rebellis there in 21st. All right, well, the caution or the pace car lights are off. We're going to go back to a green. It will be a natural green white checkered here. Gavin Hibbs is going to line up on the bottom lane there with Tate Lytle and David Tooker right behind him. He's going to have two guys that are teammates, so be a little nervous with that. He's going to need some of his teammates like Nick Indelicato and Ryan Scholl to get up there and try to see if he can help him. Seth Rawls too, you know.
I think it's only Indelicato and
Seth
Rawls.
Yeah.
Burrell doesn't have any do-good friends either, though he's got that relationship with the Pro Edge guys.
He owns Pro Edge,
so
so he can make a boss move. We're going to be coming back to a natural green-white checkered. Folks, hold your breath, and hopefully you don't pass out before it's all done. We're going to go back green here. This is a cutoff line. Who's able to make it through to the next round? Gavin Hibbs gets a little bit too good of a start there.
Yep.
Is he going to jump to the outside? Is he going to stay to the bottom? He's going to stay to the bottom, it looks like, in front of David Tooker. Ethan Burrell is going to have a good run. The 36 there is going to give him a good spot. Yes. Here comes that outside.
Yeah, there's just no momentum yet. Everybody's not up to full speed. Green tried to get to the top, but Scott Crump jumped in the middle, took him 3 wide.
Are they going to make it back around?
Stanley jumping to the middle.
Are they going to make it back around to the white flag, or are we going to have another green-white checkered? Here they come towards the back straightaway out of 4. It's going to be Ethan Burrell leading the bottom lane. It's just David Tooker and Gavin Hibbs on the bottom.
Burrell, Hogan, now Holmes jumps up in front of Fody. Everybody stays straight, but Trey Holmes has the big run. He gives it to Garrison Hogan, and Hogan just drafts into Burrell.
It's going to be a race back to the end. It's the white flag. It's a
Good
race
four
back
wide
to
in
the
turn
checkered.
one.
Gavin Hibbs is leading the field here.
Look,
Big wreck behind.
Weeks is in it. Matthew Weeks is in it. That might be the end for Weeks.
27 right around. Gavin Hibbs still leading it. Ethan Burrell right behind him. The 36 with him. Oh, Ethan Burrell into the wall. David Tucker involved.
Oh!
Out it's Gavin Hibbs. But Fody and Lytle have a chance. Holmes has some run.
It's all Gavin Hibbs all the way to the line. No one else can get him. He's able to get it done in his first full season in the Elite Cup Series. Gavin Hibbs able to win it here at Talladega.
Okay, Jesse Racimus might be in based on a 5th place run. I'd hesitate to put it. Hey, I said Michael Goodman was going to finish 10th, didn't I?
You did.
You did. I remember saying that.
Hearn got a top 10. Personette got a top 10. We didn't talk about Personette at all.
I think Matthew Weeks might be in.
Oh, this is going to be big playoffs. This is big playoff.
Okay, we need to go all the way back to the beginning of this lap.
This is going to eliminate some big name drivers.
Yeah, Tate Lytle made it through. Tate Lytle will be in. David Tooker, I think, got wrecked in that last wreck. He might be out because of that. We need to go back to Weeks here, Dave.
Okay.
Here's 4 wide on Trey, but the wreck is going to come when Jeff Green gets turned up the racetrack.
There was like 4 wrecks, to be honest.
Yeah, there was. There are 3 wrecks to get through here. It's after this. It's coming out of 2.
Now the checkup happens there.
Right, but Weeks is stuck up on the high side now that without the momentum, and as those guys kind of through, the contact hits. Now Weeks falls further back and gets clobbered right there by Jeff Green and Josh Adams. Now he's backwards on the back straightaway. He's going to go try to pick up some spots, but look, he hit the wall so hard. Just don't know if he was able to gain enough.
I don't know.
He was
back. Not. He finished 26th. That's
26. That's really bad. Burrell, Stanley's locked in.
Jonathan Cutlip did not finish. He finished in 35th. That's bad too.
Cutlip's out.
He's out. Yeah, Cutlip's completely out. Brian Gable finished 33rd.
Oh, Gable's out.
Oh, I think Gable's out. Garrison Hogan, he was locked in.
Garrison was locked.
Nick and
I think Tooker would be out
27th. Oh no.
Delicados might be out. Oh my.
Oh my gosh, this is the biggest swap up I've seen.
Okay, so here we go. Tooker and Hogan sends Hogan back up the racetrack. There's Gable getting smashed, and I think Gable just goes out of the park here. Fody and Lytle make it through. Fody was already locked. I think Tooker is going to get there. Does he spin out here? Seamus goes through. That's for 5th. Gold gets 6th. Hearn's going to end up in the top 10. I think David Tooker made it through. There's Johnny getting wrecked. So they're still wrecking. Can we go to Johnny quick, Dave?
Oh, let's see. Where is he? There he is.
I don't have the finishing order in front
Ethan
of me.
Burrell's locked in.
There's Johnny.
He's good. Ethan Burrell's good. So all the Ethan fans, he's locked in. He's finished 17th.
Yep.
He finished well enough.
Here's Chad. See, Chad's gonna. Oh man, I don't know whether Chad will be in, but Johnny made it through. I think Goody passes Johnny here before the checkered. Johnny stayed in it enough. I think he's gonna finish 11th, and I think Johnny will be through with an 11th. I think that's enough, given that those guys finished so far down the order.
He's leaning on him. He's leaning on him.
Oh, he got it. That's fun.
It's funny.
I mean, Johnny needs that point, though. You know, like that could be the difference between Johnny making it and not.
Let me look at one more shot. What happened there with Ethan Burrell and because I know Ethan Burrell's not
even
happy
Goody
right
10th.
Let's take a look what happened to Hibbs and Ethan Burrell, because I know Ethan's not happy with Hibbs right now. He's let it known on the radio. He's not happy.
Hold on, a little locked up here.
A little bit before.
A little bit before this. Okay. Yeah.
Because Burrell jumps to the outside lane, and he has him cleared, and Hibbs kind of puts him in the wall.
No,
It
this
doesn't
is
have him
good. This is
cleared.
good. This is good. David Tucker goes
So
out
Tooker to the
wide.
bottom. Burrell gives the push to Hibbs. And then right here, I think Hogan gets to the bumper on the 37. And when that happens, 37 car has the run and is able to take it to the top on the 95. See he kind of is inside the bubble. And then the 36 car gets to the back bumper of Ethan, and Ethan just has the momentum, and he tries to take it to the top. And there is a lane there. I mean,
There is a
Hibbs is not
lane.
running the wall, and Ethan has the run. He makes the commitment up to the top of the racetrack, and then you can see the 95 is crossing those white lines, continuing to drive up the track. There might have been some net code there, but Gavin had shifted into that outside lane after there was already a car to his outside. So I can see where Ethan's mad, but then again, Gavin's running for the race win.
We're watching this in slow motion. Let's go back and play this in full speed to give you an idea. You don't have that amount of time to think all. No, right there. We can go live there. But full, this is full speed here. Gavin Hibbs is only human, like any of us. You can't think on a dot that quickly. He sees the 37 on his back bumper, and he's looking at his front mirror, but looking in his back mirror. That's too fast for anybody to really be able to go, I'm hooking that guy. He's not. That was not like a super aggressive move. Was it the best of blocks? No, it's not the best of blocks. But then again, it's for a win, and this is Gavin Hibbs' first Elite Cup Series win. First Elite Cup. He's won in other Elite Series things. But that's the finishing order. Let me take a look here. If you want, let's go ahead and bring up. Can you interview these drivers here? And I'm going to try to see if I can run some points and see where we're at with some of these guys.
Can you bring them up?
Yep, I can. Great.
Ray Holmes, David in the booth. You got me?
Yeah. Oh.
Ray, how first of all, take us through that bit of a chaotic race, and then kind of take it through that chaotic finish. You side with Tate there for third.
Well,
What was it?
first I want to apologize to Johnny for that pit road incident. I didn't see his pit stall until last minute, and I tried to dodge him, and I just tapped him and turned him. I hate that.
Yeah, I'm sure Johnny will appreciate that. And, he came back to finish 10th, so I think you both ended up okay.
Yeah, still, I still hate it for him.
But yeah, how about that last lap? I know you got taken 4 wide right at the beginning of the last lap, and then all hell broke loose in front of you. Where was that hole?
That, I'm gonna be honest, that might have been the craziest plate race I've ever been a part of. Once I got sent 4 wide, I thought, well, just try to survive and get the best finish I could. Then I saw them wrecking, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I never lifted. And if I was gonna hit somebody, then so be it.
Gotcha. So that's your whole plan, was just never lift there.
No, I wasn't gonna lift. I might have made some people angry, but it's the last lap.
Yeah. How about these schemes? I think painted by Jonathan Cutlip that you've been running for the Jordan brand cars. Take us through what's the reasoning for those?
I love Jordan, the Jordan brand, Nikes, stuff like that. And this is Justin Vandermeer painted these for me.
Oh, gotcha.
So at JV Designs, give him a follow on Twitter. And I love him. I love all my schemes. I'm very appreciative of them all.
And I guess the last thing, Trey, was, this is the first plate race since Daytona where, we saw you were kind of leading coming to the checkered, and it winds up not going your way. And then that's the difference between you making the playoffs and not.
Why you got to pull that scab, D-West? Why you got to do that to me?
Is there any, yes, you got 2 top 5s at play tracks. I mean, there's something there, but is that anything that, were you going with a little bit extra hard tonight, knowing that you weren't in the playoffs or part of that?
Well, the last 2, I've decided to completely change my mindset on plate races. Before, I used to just ride in the back, try to survive through the first big wreck. Now I'm just gonna send it every lap and be as aggressive as possible. And so far it's worked. 2 top 5s. I think I'll just keep doing that.
Sounds good to me. You got any shout outs for us, buddy?
I want to shout out my team, Fueled Up, and all my teammates. It was a fun night, and we can move on to next week. Vegas is a fun track. I really enjoy Vegas, so I'm looking forward to next week.
Awesome. That's Trey Holmes, your third place finisher for Fueled Up Racing. Congrats on it, Trey, and hopefully we'll see you next week in Vegas up here in the booth.
Thanks, guys.
Can you move him down? I think roll there. We've got second place finisher Tate Lytle, and Tate was up front all night. Tate, take us through that last lap, buddy, because that seemed like a pretty wild race and a wild last lap.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like nobody was going with anybody. You'd get hit really hard, and then they'd bail, and it was kind of hard to make anything happen because I was kind of stuck on the bottom with no one in front of me. I was trying to just hold the middle lane and hold as much momentum as I could till the backstretch there, and was able to get a good run. Got Tucker, and then my help bailed on me, and then it looks like the 95 kind of squeezed the 37 in the fence, and they were kind of wrecking all the way around me, wrecking into me, and somehow the car stayed straight, which I'm thankful for because I'm gonna make the next round of the playoffs, but not by a lot. So I needed that second place finish. So I'm glad that I didn't get right hooked there. Obviously, wish one more car would have wrecked so we could have won because it's been really long time since I've won in the Cup Series. But we'll take second, and 3 good tracks coming up the next 3 weeks, and probably with how few playoff points I have, probably gonna take a win to get into the Final Four. But if we can get to the Final Four, it's anyone's game from there.
Well, you took my next question was going to be, how'd you approach this race for the playoffs? But it seems like you and everybody else just kind of went as hard as you could all night long. Didn't really mind whether or not you wrecked. It was just all about trying to stay up at the front of the field.
I mean, I kind of rode around. I was probably 30th with 30 to go, and then I had already pitted for gas, so I had plenty of fuel. And when everyone else dove off onto pit road with probably 30 to go, I bumped up to 5th, and that's kind of when I started racing. Otherwise, I was probably, my average position before that was probably 26 or 27. I was kind of just riding on the bottom, letting them wreck, and they were. And then, thankfully, once we got up there, it was fairly clean for the most part. The pushes were crazy. I mean, you'd get bogged down on the bottom, you'd be going 178, and then if you're pushing as hard as you can on the top, you're going 205 into 3, and it's just crazy with the differential and in speeds with when you have a run and when you don't have a run. And I mean, honestly, I feel like we did a pretty good job considering tonight. And unfortunately, we didn't give you the stellar side-by-side finish. But when there's only one car straight off of turn 4, it's kind of what happens.
That's about right. But yeah, any shout-outs for us here before we send you off tonight, Tate?
Yeah, shout out to I think my dad's probably still watching. He likes to listen to me for some reason. Thanks to him for watching me race a fake race car. He's been hopefully the weather will cooperate. He can watch me drive the real race car here in a couple weeks, but looking forward to that. And then shout out to Brent Wentz, Days Gone By, Vintage Racing Apparel. Shout out to you guys for sitting at your computer and not racing, watching us race fake race cars for better part of 2 hours. And yeah, shout out to Ethan. This was the memorial race for his grandma who passed away a couple months ago, so kind of bummed he got wrecked on the last lap there. I was hoping him and Tucker could get to the bottom there and I could push one of them, but shout out to him. I know, I think they kind of surprised him with it earlier today. His friend Austin sponsored the race and named it the Carol Richards Memorial, so pretty cool. Hopefully we can keep that going, maybe once a year, once a season. But I know that Carol watched every race that we did, and I know that Carol's best friend, who I think still lives with Ethan, is Betty. Got to say hi to Aunt Betty. Aunt Betty, if you're watching this, thank you. Sorry Ethan got wrecked there, but hopefully he makes the next round of the playoffs and he can go get him next couple weeks for you.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Tate, and yeah, congrats on the second place finish, and we'll see you next week at Las Vegas for the second round of the playoffs.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
So none of this is official. Before we bring up Gavin Hibbs here, none of this is official, but I do believe the drivers that are in, we'll know later on for certain, of course, on Twitter, on the Elite Racing page. But Ethan Burrell is almost guaranteed to be in, so there's no issues there. Ethan Burrell will make it around to the next round. The other drivers that I do believe that were in before coming into here that are going to stay in, Nick Indelicato, and on the very cut line, I do believe Matthew Weeks was able to make it in. Barely make it in. Drivers that were in that I do believe are out from this wreck and from the last lap carnage there. Drivers that are out almost certainly Ryan Gable, Jonathan Cutlip, and Scott Crump. Those were the drivers coming into the day, into it, leaving out of it. Drivers that found their way in that was out is going to be David Tooker, Tate Lytle, and Jesse Racimas. Johnny Thomas was unfortunately not able with that 10th place finish to make up enough spots to be able to get around Matthew Weeks. So as of right now, from what my mathematics is coming out to being as, and again, I'm doing very quick math here, but I do believe drivers that are out is Chad Frankenfield, Johnny Thomas, Scott Crump, Jonathan Cutlip, and Ryan Gable. So big 3 drivers out, 3 drivers in from a last lap carnage of everything going on. So unless if some magical point system comes away I do believe that's what I have as standings right now. So Matthew Weeks barely makes it in over Johnny Thomas, and I mean barely. So yeah, so that was close.
The guy who doesn't care about the playoffs and is not a part of that right now is Gavin Hibbs, who wins this race. And Gavin, you, for our end, you didn't really show up to the front until right there at the end, which seems like the right way to go about things. Take us through your night tonight before that, and what kind of the strategy was going in, and then what you did when you found yourself up there at the front.
Yeah, it was pretty much the goal for tonight was pretty much lay at the back and let the stuff happen in front of us happen, and hopefully we'll be there at the end. But kind of called an audible about 15-20 laps in, thinking, okay, let's probably run middle of the pack somewhere to where we're with the front pack, but not in the middle of that whole thing. And that was pretty much the rest of our race, just laying in the back of the first pack, and if we get up front, we'll get up front and try our best to stay up there. And was very surprised about it at the end.
Yeah, so take us through that last lap. You were leading on that last restart and found yourself leading into turn 3 with the run coming from the back. Were you blocking? Were you just kind of moving, or moved by the air there a little bit? What happened there on the last lap?
Yeah, it's the move coming off 2. I knew Tooker was going to jump up in front of Ethan to try and get that run to get past me. And once I saw Tooker go down and Ethan stayed up, I was kind of quite surprised. And he said he was going to go with Tooker there, but the runs are just so fast in these cars. It's, you got to be so quick on those moves. But turn 3, I just a stupid decision by me. Just trying to block Ethan, but that block came a little too late. I was not all the way up on the wall and pretty much left that wide open for him. But I hate it for all the guys that wrecked behind us going into 3 there. That was not the way I wanted to win this race whatsoever. And I know some people are not happy with my move there, but it's not the way I wanted to win.
Well, regardless, it is a win. if people like it or don't, you have won an Elite Cup Series race, and for you to do it in your first full-time season is still an accomplishment. You are the second first-time winner in the Cup Series this season. So both being at super speedways. We did just get you on the gauntlet. Maybe that was a little bit of good luck to you there, I guess. But overall, I mean, like I said, it maybe not exactly how you would want your first win to necessarily go down. But then again, it's a super speedway race. You get taken out as many of them as you actually end up taking somebody out. But overall, I mean, does this kind of I kind of mentioned it in the gauntlet, which is now going to be completely irrelevant because I was bashing you on the gauntlet of how awful your season's been, and then you go out and you win right after making the gauntlet race questionnaire I had completely wrong. Does this kind of change now how the season's been? Does a win somewhat act as like a cure a little bit to the suffering your season's been?
It definitely helps a lot, that's for sure. We just haven't been there, especially at these super speedways. We failed to qualify for the 500, and then got wrecked out early in the Daytona race a few weeks ago. So we just haven't been there at super speedways whatsoever. And the rest of the other tracks, we've showed promises, some good speed at some of the tracks, but just haven't been able to finish the deal. So hopefully tonight can definitely turn our season around for the last 4 weeks, and we'll see how these next 4 weeks go for us.
It would have been really funny if Ethan. I had to go back and check and just make sure on my schedule board if Ethan Burrell was going to be the co-host for the podcast.
Oh, God.
It would have been a little funny, but it didn't work out that way. I don't think he's going to be on the Simply Racing Show podcast tomorrow, but maybe I'll bring him on board just to give you a shout out.
Oh, great.
Well, overall, again, I mean, people are going to boo. They booed Kyle Busch, so I mean, either you accept the boos or you don't. But regardless, they're coming. And again, a win is a win in anybody's book. So again, congratulations on that win. They're hard to come by, and now you can be able to tip your hat. You've won in the IndyCar Series. You've won in, what was it, the Truck Series? Was
Yep.
the Truck Series or the Truck Series? And now you've won here in the Cup Series. So you're starting to get one in every series. You're starting to make a bingo card here. So got to get a couple more and you'll have bingo before too long and the Elite Series wins column. But again, congratulations to you, and hopefully, like I said, maybe this is just one of many coming your way.
Yeah, I hope so.
I what was my one thing I said you had to do in the gauntlet? Stay off the walls. You stayed off the wall. You didn't help. You I guess your way was to make sure somebody else was, but you stayed off the walls. You did good there, Gavin. We're gonna go ahead and let you go here. Have yourself a wonderful night. We'll see you back on the gauntlet here tomorrow.
All right, thank you guys for putting this on.
That was Gavin Hibbs there. We'll have a better rundown of the points on Twitter. If you're interested, make sure you go on to the Twitter page. Last thoughts there, David?
Scott Crump got two bonus points. I think our count is wrong. Please tune into the elite Twitter for any real counts, because I think Scott might be in.
Well, we'll take a look at the points here and see. But everybody, we appreciate you joining us here for the Talladega race. We appreciate you joining us. We'll be back in 2 weeks. We're going to have an off week here next week, but stay tuned for the next round of the playoffs. And again, if you want to tune in tomorrow, we will be having the podcast on Thursday night, giving a recap of everything and a recap of the points.